Boom, 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 boom. Woo! This is a good one right here, Magic Mike. It's a good one right here. Oh! Sorry. This is Shelley Winter's show. Let me tell you what's going on. So Keith Ellison, he is lamenting the fact that the FBI has taken over the investigation in Minnesota. This is his words. He said, Keith Ellison, where is his quote here? The investigation would now be led solely by the FBI and the BCA, which is the BCA superintendent. He is the superintendent of Minnesota. Drew Evans said in a statement that after the agency consulted with the Hennepin County Attorney's Office, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and the FBI following the shooting, it was decided that the BCA Force Investigations Unit would conduct a joint investigation with the FBI. But he said the FBI later informed the BCA that the U.S. Attorney's Office had changed the plan. The investigation would now be led solely by the FBI, and the BCA would no longer have access to case materials, scene evidence, or investigative interviews necessary to complete a thorough and independent investigation, Drew Evans said. Without complete access to the evidence, witnesses, and information collected, we cannot meet the investigative standards that Minnesota law and the public demands. As a result, the BCA has reluctantly withdrawn from the investigation. The BCA Force Investigations Unit was designed to ensure consistency, accountability, and public confidence, none of which can be achieved without full cooperation and jurisdictional clarity. So let me ask my states' rights people, do you agree with this? I'm just asking. A citizen of a city is killed by a federal agent, and the feds step in and take over the entire investigation, and the city is not allowed to investigate on its own when its own citizen was murdered. Was allegedly murdered by a federal agent. Let me ask my states' rights. Let me ask my small government conservative. Let me ask my libertarians out there. What do you think of that? Forget what you think happened in the situation. Take all of that out of it. Forget all of that. I see your side. I see my side. I'm not going to argue with you every single night about this. Let's just go with where we are right now. The federal government, okay? I'm not talking to the left. I'm not talking to the Democrats right now because they don't know what they only know one thing. We hate Trump, right? So let me talk to intelligent, smart people who at one point in time had principles and morals and standards that they held close to their hearts. One of them being smaller government, one of them being limited government. I know that's a conservative mantra. I know conservatives believe in that because we've talked about it. We've had meetings about the limited government. We've had them. I've been in those meetings. What do you think about the federal government stepping in and taking over the whole investigation? You can't agree with it. No, you can't, because you believe in limited government. You believe in small government. You believe in the government closest to the people, which is the cities and states and localities and counties. That's what you believe. Or you used to. 404-872-0750. 1-800-WSB-TALK. In the 60s, when civil rights people were being murdered, the feds stepped in because they knew the local sheriffs and the local police force could not investigate. But they couldn't. They knew they would not get a fair shake. So the feds stepped in. That's what they did. The case of the 3 civil rights workers from New York, Goodman, Cheney, Schwerner, Cheney, and Goodman, I believe. Goodman, Cheney, and Schwerner. 2 white Jewish kids and an African-American male were murdered in Mississippi. Car drove into a lake and sunk. And the feds had to step in and investigate. The only reason there was any kind of arrest made, even though they got off, but the reason why there was any kind of arrest made is because the feds stepped in. In this case, do you think that's going to happen? Because the shooter was a Fed. In Minnesota several years ago, Minnesota did a hiring of Somali police officers. And because there's a huge Somalian population, as you all know. And so they started to hire Somali police officers to police the Somalian community. So they would have people that can translate and so forth and so on. And one night, this young Somali police officer got a call or went to a call, suspicious person call in the dead of night. And all my law enforcement people that are listening to me right now will tell you the two those dangerous calls to go on is a domestic violence call and a suspicious person call, because you don't know what's going on. It's just a suspicious person call. And domestic violence, suspicious person. And the third one is a traffic stop. To the regular public, these seem like normal things. But law enforcement people will tell you these are the most dangerous situations to go into because you don't have all the facts. Right? The Somali police officer had his flashlight, got out of his car and was walking around in the dark of night. He goes down a dark alley and this woman steps out in front of him and he fires his weapon and kills her. He went to trial. He said, I felt in fear of my life because it was dark. I couldn't see anything, and she was standing in front of me, and she seemed to be holding something, and I was on a suspicious person call. I did not know what to do, so I fired. I was in fear of my life. Let me tell you something that's always stuck in my heart of hearts as being the most cruel and vicious thing I've ever heard. Not one single conservative talker in the country came out in support of that Somali police officer. Not a single one. I said he should go to jail because he killed a citizen. But I was shocked at the silence by my friends who would not stand up for the Somalian police officer who killed a woman because he felt in fear of his life in a dark alley. He did not know who she was, did not know what she was doing there because he was called on a suspicious person call. My point to you all, ladies and gentlemen, is how I started the show. If it's only about the team winning and you can move and manipulate everything about your point of view based on that, then we have lost the plot of the movie entirely. I'm not here to blame this ICE agent. I'm not calling him a bad person. I'm simply saying that if the federal government or local police or any kind of law enforcement apparatus can wantonly kill somebody, a citizen of the United States of America, and are completely protected from top to bottom, then we don't have any freedom. And if you can't wrap your mind around that idea, I don't see the point in having the argument. Because all you're going to do is call in here and tell me, I don't know what I'm talking about. This is a tough job. Oh, we got to I know all of that. But don't you understand the bigger point? How could you not see the bigger point? You know why you can't see the bigger point? Because it hardly ever happens to you. And that's not a race or class or anything else. It hardly ever happens to you. Now, you could say it hardly ever happens to you because you've never not complied. Because when you were driving drunk home one night, you simply stepped out the car and said, I'm sorry, officer, I'm drunk. Please take me to jail. You never yelled back at an officer ever in your entire life. Because you've always complied, which is a lie. I'm simply saying if there's no accountability to the government, not just law enforcement, to the government, if they have no accountability to us, the citizens, we do not live in a free society. If your answer to that is to say, simply do what they say, then you're not free to move as you want to. You can't be free to move as you want to if you have to listen and comply when the government tells you to comply. You shouldn't obstruct the traffic. Okay, then what is the protest? You should get permission to protest. Okay, then what's the point in protesting if I have to go to the government that I'm protesting to ask for permission to protest? 404-872-0750. 1-800 WSB Talk.